Thank you for having me here. So I'm going to be speaking on minimalism and about minimal being the new optimal. But I believe that minimal has always been an optimal as far as the world of communication is concerned. I'll start off with a very boring slide, which is the definition of minimalism here, a dictionary definition of sorts, because all of us may not be acquainted with what minimalism really means. But trust me, it gets more and more interesting as we go forward. This is a dictionary definition. It's a style or technique characterized by extreme sparseness or simplicity. When you make things as clean and clear as possible, you don't beat around the bush much, and that's what minimalism is about. Before I really delve into the world of advertising and communication, I would want to tell you that this world of advertising that at least I inhabit is influenced by the world at large, right? Advertising is not just some cocoon in which ideas sort of keep breeding within that cocoon, but it is influenced by a lot of stuff from outside, from the world of architecture, cinema, art, music. It all influences advertising, right? So to give you an instance of how minimalism operates in worlds outside of advertising, because it eventually influences the world inside of advertising, this is how. So this is a very famous example of a bull, and these are 11 lithographs by Picasso, in which he distilled this magnificent beast of flesh and bones and muscle and tendons into a simplified lines which were a distillation of the form of the bull, right? So this is probably one of the most famous examples of minimalism in the world of art, where an artist has taken something which is a living, breathing creature that all of us are acquainted with and shown us how the same can be, brought down to its essence, distilled to a few simple lines which also bring out the essence of what that animal is about. Yeah. So this is from the world of art. Again, this is a very famous school of design in Germany. It's called the Bauhaus School. It was born in 1919 in Germany and started by an architect called Walter Gropius. And before you knew it, it became a movement of sorts which symbolized bold, clean lines, simplicity at its best. And it went forth it started out as an architecture movement, the Bauhaus School, and it went on to, beautiful, functional designs, mass-produced. And if you Google it, you will be able to see the impact of Bauhaus in everything from cutlery to utensils to wristwatches, to automobiles, and a lot of other things that we use in our daily lives, right? But it all started with this movement of architecture called Bauhaus. You must be wondering why I'm showing you this example of an event which took place almost 35 years back. Again, this is the tank man from the Tiananmen Square pro-democracy protest. This one man stood up to a column of tanks in Tiananmen Square and stopped this megaton tank from going forth and crushing protesters. To my mind, again, a beautiful example of minimalism, because it's one man against many, and what it does is it also sort of gives you the impact of an idea in advertising and communication, right? That if you have one simple, clean idea, it can fight against clutter and make you stop in your tracks. And that's why I feel it's a really an amazing example. And moving forth from here, I come to something which is called the KISS principle in advertising. It's called KISS, keep it simple, silly, right? Not keep it simple and silly. We tend to not to overcomplicate things. Keep it as easy as possible to understand. And minimalism in communication is basically about taking KISS to an extreme. You are not you're not just saying things simply, but you're taking it to the nth level, right? And the examples that I have here are mostly visual in nature because I feel one picture says 1,000 words. So the Economist ads are a great example of simple typography set against red, easy to understand lines. This is about, I never read The Economist, a management trainee aged 42. So there is an inherent contradiction there. The trainee is 42 years old and he's talking about the fact that he's never read The Economist. The ad next to me is about a piano concert to honor the people who fell in 9/11. And as you can see, the power of visual communication, minimal communication is so beautiful because the bars of the piano are almost representative of the World Trade Center buildings, right? The Twin Towers. Minimalist communication has to be engaging. So for example, these two ads here that I have, one is for Play-Doh. It shows the dinosaur that you see when the internet is not working. And so no internet required because you can go out and have fun. You don't need a 3G or a 5G or any connectivity at all when you have Play-Doh on your hands. On the other hand, the banded one, which is talking about 100% waterproof, it beautifully shows how a tear is sort of spilling onto the side of the bandage. It's almost self-evident as to the power of the bandage itself that does not absorb the liquid. Yeah. This is something Steve Jobs said. It takes a lot of hard work to make something simple, to truly understand the underlying challenges and come up with elegant solutions. And look how beautifully they did it. They just used the golden arches to make the point. So on the top left, you have, it says next exit. So take right rather than left. And they're using the brand symbol to make the point, right? Just missed us, you have to take a U-turn. So again, they're using the golden arches beautifully. Or it's on your left. So the M of the golden arches is being used in a very cropped style to make the point. Again, beautifully minimal, It's not just they have a huge McDonald's sign and says, take left. We are just, if you missed us, take a U-turn. That would have been so boring. I mean, they have basically used the most common symbol of what McDonald's stands for, which is the golden arches, to make the point in a beautiful way. And this is while you're driving. So as you're driving, you don't want to be distracted. You just want to see it, and you want to understand exactly what is being said. And this does it beautifully. Not maybe a big deal today, but they were 6-7 years back. And it uses the Volkswagen logo to make the entire point. And this was just not one ad, it was a series of 3, which again used the VW logo to make the point. So this is talking about a hill hold function, which lets you climb up inclines. Yep. So you see, again, the most well-known identity of the brand is the brand logo itself and how that is being used to communicate specific features about the car. Or this one, automatic distance control from VW. And I think, again, Volkswagen advertising is a beautiful instance of minimalism in advertising, no matter which country they're doing it in. I think of all the car brands that I have worked on or I have been witness to, VW really does it in a way which is very human, right? And if your advertising is human and simple enough, then it will touch a chord with people, no doubt about it. A campaign for Adidas and cricket, it says made for cricket, and we all know Adidas for its 3 stripes. So we just use the stumps of cricket to make a point about Adidas now making cricket gear, right, in India. So this was an India campaign for Adidas cricket gear. I'm sorry, the resolution is a little off, so you can't see the Adidas logo down there. So it just says made for cricket, adidas.com. Again, the power of minimalism at play, where you are not showing that entire plethora of cricketing gear that Adidas manufactures. Okay, so this is something I did in my earlier years. It keeps circulating on the internet now and then. It's for a martial arts school, right? It's a martial arts school called Kukiwon. So you have an entry and you have an exit, right? I don't need to explain it. Again, some examples from the visual or the audio-visual medium from static. A few years back, I collaborated with Facebook. And in advertising, typically, we are used to seeing, at least when you see films on air, they're at least 30 seconds in length. But we pushed ourselves and sort of challenged ourselves to see, is it possible to tell a story in 10 seconds flat? Thank you. Thank you for having me here.